These are the cones of the coulter pine. The other name, big cone pine, makes sense. These are huge cones. In fact, the largest cones in the world. They can weigh up to 8 pounds. They can be a foot in length, and they have brutal claws on the outer surface. You can see these scales removed, and you can see these incredibly sharp edges. Imagine one of these falling on you. Another name is the widowmaker because of their potential brutality. Big scales, huge claws. Okay. Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts are familiar with the scales of the coulter pine. With proper painting, with a little coaxing from the counselors, they can end up with a little Woody Woodpecker model. They can also use this as a neckerchief holder. The pines are divided into two groups. One group called the white pine group, and the other group the yellow pine group. This big cone pine tree is in the yellow pine group, has harder wood, yellow wood, and the needles of members of that group are in 3s or 2s, usually. From this branch that has fallen here on the ground, you can see the male cones. These little cones here in the summer will produce a yellow pollen in copious amounts, and this whole mountainside will be covered with pollen from the coulter pine. The needles are in bundles of 3, and they can be over a foot in length as well, as the cones are over a foot in length. Here are the 3 needles. You can see they're way beyond the length of my hand. These needles are densely clustered. They are in bundles of 3, but they're very closely aligned to one another. Gives a huge collection of needles that are the photosynthetic producers of the pine tree. These are the leaves. We call them needles. Each of these cones produces about 150 seeds. The coulter pine is a wonderful tree. It adds to the diversity of the pine forests in California, but it's not real good as a lumber tree. The wood warps and is too brittle, so it's not part of the lumber industry in California. The coulter pine is not distributed all over the West. It's found only in areas on the coastal ranges. It's not found in the Sierras. The coastal ranges of central and southern California, you can find the coulter pines. It's not a real tall pine. Sugar pines, for example, are over 200 feet high. Most of the coulters are less than 100 feet high. Medium-sized for a pine tree. Pinus coulteri, with the largest cones of any pine tree in the world, right here in Southern California.